It was October 1987, and Earl Whitmore woke at 4:30, the way he always did. Not because of an alarm, but because his body had been set to this land for 51 years. He dressed in the dark and walked out the back door toward the east field. The frost had come early that year. His boots left dark prints in the silver grass. He was 63 years old. He had farmed this same 280 acres in Harlan County, Kentucky, since he was 12. When his father put a hoe handle in his hands and said, "Boy, this is how a man stays honest." The east field was his best ground. 42 acres of deep black loam sitting over a limestone shelf that held moisture through August droughts. He had pulled 11 consecutive corn harvests from that field, each one better than the last. The soil tested rich. The drainage was natural and perfect. He had not bought commercial fertilizer for that field in 6 years. He smelled it before he saw it. Something sharp and mineral, like struck flint mixed with wet chalk. He stopped walking. He looked toward the east field fence line and saw the headlights. 2 of them. Big ones. The kind that sat high off the ground the way heavy trucks sit high. He walked faster. By the time he reached the gate, the truck had already made one pass. A dump truck, the big commercial kind with the raised bed, was moving slowly along the near edge of his east field, dropping grey rock waste in a continuous grey river along the soil. Crushed shale and mine tailings, jagged and pale in the headlights, covering his black topsoil in a line 4 feet wide and already 100 yards long. Earl stood at the gate. He did not shout. He walked to the truck and stood in front of it. The truck stopped. The driver climbed down. He was young, maybe 25, wearing a company jacket and looking genuinely confused rather than guilty. He held a clipboard. Earl said, "What are you doing on my land?" The driver looked at the clipboard. He said, "This is Route 4 dump site, sir. I got the order right here." He held it out. Consolidated Ridge Mining, Harlan County Operations. Dump site authorization. The field coordinates matched Earl's east field exactly. Earl read it slowly. He said, "Who authorized this?" The driver said, "Mr. Gerald Boone, sir. He's the site operations manager. I just go where they send me." Earl looked at the grey rock waste already covering his field. He looked at the driver. He could see the boy was telling the truth and following orders, and did not have a single decision-making role in any of this. He handed the clipboard back. He said, "You park that truck right here, and you don't dump another load until I talk to Mr. Gerald Boone." The driver parked the truck. Gerald Boone's office was in a prefabricated building at the edge of the Consolidated Ridge operation, 12 miles east on Route 9. Earl drove there in his 1974 Ford pickup, the one with the cracked passenger mirror and the rebuilt carburetor, arriving at 7:45 in the morning. A secretary told him Mr. Boone was in a meeting. Earl sat down in a plastic chair and waited. At 8:20, Gerald Boone came out. He was 41 years old, heavy-set, wearing a pressed shirt with the company logo on the chest. He had the particular confidence of a man who had never been told no by anyone he considered his equal, and who had decided, looking at Earl in the plastic chair, that Earl was not his equal. Earl stood up. He introduced himself. He explained the situation plainly. He said that Consolidated Ridge had dumped mine tailings on his east field without permission, without notice, and without compensation, and that he would need the material removed and the field restored. Gerald Boone laughed. Not a polite laugh, not an embarrassed laugh. A loud, open-mouthed laugh that brought 2 other men out of the back office to see what was funny. He said, "Sir, do you understand what Consolidated